Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here. Well, the White House has just issued a major warning to Europe, warning that a war could be right around the corner. Now, before I get into the report, I want to remind you, please don't forget to check out my partner at NobleGoldInvestments.com. If you've not converted your 401k or gotten a Roth IRA or an IRA, something backed by gold, silver, and precious metals, then you're going to want to do that, especially in light of everything that's happening with the U.S. economy. Get something more stable than the dollar, which is, headed for massive inflation. But give them a call today. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. And right now they're giving away this American 5-ounce silver coin with any approved IRA or 401k. So check it out at NobleGoldInvestments.com. All right. So just what is happening and what made the White House issue this major warning to Europe? Well, for that, let's go on over to the tensions between Russia, Ukraine, Poland, UK, and all of that. Let's first dive into this article here on CNN, Communist News Network Politics. Blinken says that the U.S. is very concerned that Russia may be attempting to rehash their 2014 invasion of Ukraine. We also have the CIA director having a conversation with Putin. This is CNN Politics. CIA director has a rare conversation with Putin while in Moscow last week. In this conversation, the CIA director, Bill Burns, had a rare conversation with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Moscow last week to convey serious United States concerns about Russia's military buildup along the Ukraine border and an attempt to determine Russia's real intentions, two sources with direct knowledge told Communist News Network. Now, obviously, I have been talking about the buildup of the military strength of Russia against Ukraine for quite some time. I've talked about it on RestrictedRepublic.com as well. But here's some of that buildup as a quick reminder. We have Al Jazeera. Russia now has, believed to have, about 90,000 troops near the UK border, they say. And here's an actual picture of that. You can see tens of thousands of troops there who have amassed the border between Russia and Ukraine on the Russian side, obviously, as a direct intimidation tactic with Ukraine. This has worried Ukraine. So obviously, they've issued their own warning. We have NBC News. Ukraine's allies are warning Russia against the new military escalation. Speaking on his return from a trip to Washington, Foreign Minister Dmitry has accused Russia of waging a hybrid war on Europe. So obviously there, as you can tell, Ukraine is concerned. And as a result of this tension, of course, the Biden administration has already made a statement on this. And here's the statement that they made. This is on MSN.com. The United States has warned Putin against making another serious mistake in Ukraine, basically warning, don't go back to this whole Ukraine war that you did in the past. There's going to be implications, serious implications. And of course, Russia puts this out, Newsweek.com. Russia promises it's not going to invade Ukraine despite troop buildup at the border. Obviously, we don't really believe that that's the case because the reason that you put somebody at the border, there's usually an ulterior motive for that. But I digress. On top of all of that, right, I still haven't yet touched on the White House's warning to Europe. But on top of all of that, there's something else going on in the area that you absolutely need to be aware of between Russia and Belarus, Poland and the Ukraine. There's also trouble boiling between Belarus and Poland in regards to migration. Let's go on over to this Washington Post article.com. Russia now sends paratroopers to Belarus for drills near Poland because Belarus and Russia are working together. They're allies. So they're doing these joint drills. And as a result of those drills and sending troops to the border, Russia is also, they're also amassing troops there in Belarus on the Poland and Belarus line, which you're going to see in a moment. But because of all that, we have the UK getting involved and Poland getting involved. The Guardian.com team of 10 UK troopers sent to Poland to assist at the border. And then we also have this DailyMail.com. RAF jets intercept Russia nuclear bombers over the North Sea as Britain sends troops, that's the UK, to help defend Polish borders from Putin-backed weaponized migrants. So there's some of that tension. But let's put all of this together which is kind of what this next article does on dailymail.co.uk. But White House, it was just revealed that the White House, as a result of all those tensions, has just warned European allies to prepare for a Russian invasion of Ukraine with further military buildup and tensions over the gas supplies, right? We have here, Russia could be about to invade Ukraine. The U.S. has warned its European allies as Putin builds up his forces on the border while NATO and the EU deal with the migrant crisis between Belarus and Poland. American intelligence sources have briefed the European counterparts of a possible Kremlin military operation in Ukraine's east to annex territory similar to 2014 annexation of the Crimea Peninsula. The U.S. has refused to share exactly what intel it has of an imminent attack, but the warning comes after satellite images reveal buildup of tens of thousands of Russian troops, tanks, and artillery pieces close to the border, which is this picture that I showed you earlier, right? But back to that article. Moving on a little further, it also touches on what's going on in Poland and all of that, but it says Ukraine, which has been fighting a proxy war against Russia-backed separatists in its eastern region for years, has moved 8,500 troops to the border in response. So now we have Ukraine's got troops at the border, as well as Russia has troops on Ukraine's border. And meanwhile, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia have also been warning of the risk of conflict between Belarus, an ally of Moscow, and Poland amid the migrant crisis on their shared border. The EU accuses the Belarus dictator Lukashenko of forcing migrants to make illegal crossings into Poland in a cynical attempt to destabilize the bloc using vulnerable people as his weapon. That's pretty intense. In response, Poland has moved 15,000 troops to the region, a move that has conserved both Lukashenko and Putin. Russia has taken to flying nuclear-capable bombers over Belarus as a show of rival strength. On Thursday, Lukashenko himself warned of the risk of a conflict and accused the armed groups in the Donbas region of Ukraine of trying to ship weapons to the migrants on the Polish border in order to spark fighting. So Ukraine is also working there with Poland. And it goes on to say that Lukashenko has also threatened to cut off the natural gas supplies running from Russia through his country into Europe. Obviously, there's a lot of tension here, but here's a great picture of kind of all of it. We have the nuclear bombers being sent over here by Russia. We have troops mounting there in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. 8,500 Ukraine troops are sent to the border. We also have troops here amassing between Poland and Belarus. The migrant flashpoint is that as well. And then, of course, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are all worried about this situation. So lots of things are happening. And finally, one last piece of the puzzle that I want to show you is this article here. The United States and Russia enter Europe's border battle. We're getting involved in this now. America warns that it is looking at ways of dealing with Lukashenko. That's our claim here. And UK sends soldiers to Poland after Putin provokes the West by deploying troops in Belarus and sending bombers over the North Seas. It's a shit show. It's a literal shit show, excuse my French. But Anthony Blinken said Belarus is using migrants as a weapon, and we're looking at tools here in the U.S. to respond. Kamala Harris condemned Lukashenko's actions. Belarus hit back, right? And he is basically, as the defense minister said, that we are trying to basically incite conflict. And if we do, he is going to respond harshly. So as you can see, the crap is literally hitting the fan over there between Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Belarus, and the whole area. So much so that other countries are freaking out in and around the area. The United States is getting involved. This could erupt into World War III. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on all of this. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.